Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TAC channel. I'm your host, Heath Meredith. This is the Third Alarm Cowboys podcast. This is a podcast for firefighters. We talk about real life situations, stuff in your station like leadership and promotions, and stuff in your personal life like relationships and finances. You name it, we talk about it. Some things may be a little controversial, but that's real life, and that's what we're going to talk about on this show. Oh, man, guys, what's going on? Jumping on here with y'all, giving you a little update, everything we got going on. We're going to be going this week out to Smoky Mountain in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Man, I'm beyond ready for this trip. We're going to take the family out there and make a pretty good time of it. A bunch of the guys that are, heavily involved with the TAC team and stuff are going to be there. And a bunch of our founding outlaws will be out there helping us, have a good time. And we're going to have a little bit of a social Saturday night after all the classes and everything are done. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great time. I'm bringing, the firefighter cigars. We're bringing out all of our merch, all the shirts and all this kind of good stuff. And, man, it's just going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very thankful for those guys out there for bringing us out to host another class, a couple classes, at this badass conference. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and address all the stuff that's been going on before I get into the meat and potatoes of this show. I will go ahead and tell you all this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the programs that I've got coming out for you guys to, give y'all some value and actually give y'all a true checklist, a tactical checklist on basically a question I get asked all the time, which is, "Hey man, I just made lieutenant. Hey man, I just made captain. I really want to have the best crew in my department. I want to have a good reputation. I want to, make sure I do things the right way. Where should I start? I'm getting ready to go into my new position, or I'm a brand new captain and I really want to get things moving in the right direction. How do I start?" And so that's what I'm going to go over. I'm going to give you guys, the first few pointers of a checklist on what you should do your very first day. And then before we get too far into it, if the things that you hear in this episode, you want to know more as far as being an officer, or you're looking to promote in the future, you want to know more, this checklist that I'm giving you is a 30-day checklist of what you need to do as a first in officer. I'm going to give it to you guys for free. I'm not trying to sell this. I'm not trying to, make a class out of it or anything like that. It's just something, tips and tricks of actual tactical things that you can do to start your position or, role in that company officer spot. Start them off in the right way. There's a lot of great leadership classes and stuff like that try to teach you principles and this, that, and the other, but no one is actually giving you a true, recipe for, hey, walk in the station and do this. And so that's what I'm going to do for you guys, just to, give you the tips and tricks of things that helped me, that really built a reputation whenever I was a, newly promoted captain. And then, guys, I actually lateraled twice as a captain, chasing greener pastures. Like I said, I made a lot of mistakes in my career, and there's things that I didn't do perfect. And one of them was I fell for the recruitment tactics of neighboring departments saying, the grass was greener on this side of the fence. And I did that. And I'll tell you guys that one of the hardest things to do, not only as a newly promoted captain, you're trying to learn the job, but even after being a seasoned captain of several years and kind of know what's going on, but then leaving and going into two other departments as a captain, that shit is very hard. You're walking in, you have the responsibilities of being a captain. The weight of everything is lying on your shoulders. And, day one, you could pop a freaking 2-alarm apartment fire where it's all on you. You're the incoming officer, so you got to know your shit. And, that's something that's a learning curve that I have a specialty in that most people have not had to experience. And not only that, you're coming in as a brand new captain on a brand new crew. These people don't know you and they got to trust you with their life. So I learned a lot of hard lessons through, honestly, successes and failures. And that's stuff that I'm going to share with you guys on how to be successful. And it's honestly, it's principles that you can apply even all the way down to being a firefighter, or being a chief, being an operations chief that's still on shift. It's not necessarily, some of the principles may be the same for the administrative chiefs, but for the most part, guys, this is going to be for stuff in operations, because that's my niche. That's what I care about. That's what I'm wanting to teach. So if that's something you're interested in, shoot me an email, thirdalarmcowboys@gmail.com, and I can, get that checklist out to you guys. That way you can get started off, on the right foot, whether you're riding up as an officer, you newly promoted, or you've been doing it a while and you just want to kind of change the culture, change the direction of what you got going on amongst your crew. Reach out to me, shoot me an email. Guys, please, please, please go to YouTube and subscribe. Follow and subscribe on the Third Alarm Cowboys podcast. And, help me get my subscribers up. We have a ton of audio listeners. That's really where our platform started, was audio only, Spotify, Apple, and Google. And we still get probably 95% of our listeners are all on that platform. And there's thousands of you guys. If you just go, even if you still want to listen on audio only because you're driving or you're, working out, so you're just listening in your headphones, still go to YouTube and subscribe. That way I can get the subscribers up, man. Y'all know the game, how it works with algorithms and everything like that. The more people that are subscribing and you get on up there, the more when somebody goes in and types firefighter podcast, it's going to be this that pops up as opposed to, any of the other podcasts out there. That's what we're trying to do, is get the message out. And that's what it's going to take to get there. So guys, before we get into the tactical training stuff for company offers, I'm going to go ahead and address the stuff with these shirts. You've all seen it. It's blown up. Some of the largest platforms out there in today's fire service that I didn't even know I fucking existed in their realm. I've pretty much been the going topic over the last few days. This is to be expected. Anytime you're trying to, disrupt the status quo, or you are, an outlier, an outlaw, if you will. Our founding outlaws is part of the Third Alarm Cowboys. It's a special group of guys that are my foundational crew. Anytime that you're involved in something that is not the norm, there's going to be people that have doubt. Yes, I understand the 6 words on the back of this shirt enrages a lot of people. Bring fistfights back to the firehouse. Okay. I recorded episode 89 literally a year ago when we launched these shirts. I put it out on June 2nd, 2025, completely explaining the meaning behind this shirt. And yet, due to lack of critical thinking skills, due to people want to judge a book by its cover, due to a million different reasons, the shirt has had its ups and downs and this, that, and the other. And people will call me a clown. People will say, oh, you're just in to sell shirts. Whatever, man. You're going to make your opinion out of me regardless of what I do. I've been on this podcast pouring my fucking heart out for 3 years now, talking to guys about marriage issues, talking to guys about drug addiction, talking to guys about drinking, tactical stuff, operational stuff, leadership. And man, the craziest thing on the planet to me is the fact that still it's these shirts that are so inflammatory to certain individuals. I can literally get on this podcast and basically say, fuck fire chiefs 100%, and nobody bats an eye at it. But I have a shirt that, yes, 100%. This is the deal. And I just did a post about it. Guys, I'm not running for president. I'm not out to get the popularity vote. I'm not out to try to, there's over 1 million firefighters paid and volunteer in the United States. I understand all 1 million firefighters out there are not going to follow what the fuck I say. They're not going to be about this platform or this exact thing. This platform is meant for people that truly, truly have a hardcore passion of giving a damn. I come from a sports background, rodeo background, and fire department and oil field. That's all I've ever done, is those 4 things. That's all I've ever done. And in none of those fields, until in the last 5 to 8 years in the fire service, none of those fields had such a bite of corporate America where things had to be so PC and you had to be so nicey-nicey. Yeah, we fought in the oil field. Yeah, we fought in sports. Yeah, we fight in rodeo. It's still going on. All of you that follow JB Mooney, the most famous bull rider of all time, literally his business partner at Bucktown last week, they're putting on a rodeo. And time out, I'm going to give a caveat to this because it's so fucking important for what I'm doing on this platform. And I didn't even know it when I was watching the videos. JB Mooney is by far one of the best bull riders of all time, hands down. Definitely one of the most money-winning bull riders of all time. The dude is raw. The dude is gritty. He's tatted up. He smokes like a freight train. He drinks beer. And he said straight up on an interview a long time ago, a few years ago, they asked him why he left the professional bull riding, the PBR, the Super Bowl of bull riding, where all the money is, why he left it to go to just do regular rodeos, which is PRCA, which is the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association. That's what you see where people are doing barrel race and all that, which is what we do as a family in the PRCA. They asked him, why'd you leave? Why'd you leave all that money? You're a 2-time world champ. Why did you leave? And he said very clearly, he said, man, when corporate America took over the bull riding world and they took the beer out of the locker rooms for fucking bull riding, that's when I knew it was no longer a place for me. The most dangerous sport you could do, bull riding, they've corporatized and tried to put PC, softness, everything we're dealing with in the fire service happened to bull riding 5 years ago. And that's what made the greatest bull rider of all time walk away and go back to rodeoing. Why? Because rodeoing is still different. It's a family environment, but it's about having fun. It's about the love of your guys. Like literally guys are traveling together. JB Mooney, Kai Hamilton, and Stetson Wright, the three top bull riders in the world at this point in time, are riding together in an RV with their families across country hitting rodeos. They're drinking beer. They're talking shit. They're having a good time and they're cussing. And nobody cares because guess what? They're the best. And they prove it day in and day out. They fucking prove it that they're the best. So about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, JB, of course, he got hurt, ended up breaking his neck too many times, had to retire from pro rodeo a couple years ago. Well, the PBR begged him and begged him, begged him. They threw money at him and this, that, and the other. And you can go follow. This is all public. He's done a million interviews. They begged him to come and coach one of the bull riding teams. The PBR, who was losing steam and losing popularity because they were so corporatized, they didn't have the fan base anymore. It wasn't as fun to watch or be a part of anymore, no matter how much money they threw at it. So they came up with this teams deal and they started doing drafts, emulating kind of like the NFL draft and all. And it was cool and it was exciting and it was new. So of course he goes over there and man, he's hammered down on these guys. He's hammered down and he talks about it in a ton of interviews. And he's a guy I look up to because he is in the bull riding world what my mindset is when it comes to firefighting. Do the fucking job. Hammer down. This ain't a place for your feelings at 2 o'clock in the morning down some dark ass hallway. This shit's dangerous. This shit'll get you killed. That bull is trying to fucking kill you just like a fire is trying to kill you. So I really resonate with that. And I know a lot of you do too. And so they were doing all this, but then they started putting handcuffs on him. Well, and he was calling his bull riders, professional bull riders, but they're on his team. So he's saying, hey, we will have mandatory practices at my house at Bucktown where you guys are going to come practice riding bulls. You're going to come practice. And guys bitch and they moan and they go to the owner of the company and they go to the commissioner of the PBR and they whine and they cry. And he comes out and his team isn't winning. Okay. So he did this the last couple of seasons. Finally, he ended up, hey, y'all aren't letting me coach the way I want to coach. The way I became a world champion bull rider is the only way I know how to coach. And that's what these guys need. They don't need all the softness. They don't need all the yoga instructors and all that shit. To ride bulls, you got to practice by riding bulls, is what he says. Well, they parted ways, whatever. So he goes and starts his own deal. This is where it really starts resonating with me. Him and a partner of his, they've been riding bulls forever, great business partners, best friends. They invest some money together. They start what's called Bucktown. And basically, they're building their own PBR in JB Mooney's backyard. Thousands of people are showing up to these events. Why? Because it's fun. It's not corporatized. It is raw, gritty, outlaw fucking bull riding. They're drinking beer behind the chutes. Why? Because they're about to climb on a fucking 1,800, 2,000 pound animal that's trying to kill them. Why not? They're doing real shit that real bull riders do. So, with that comes heated exchanges. I don't know the full deal out because it hasn't necessarily come out yet. Basically, they came out and gave, their statement or whatever, their media statement, basically saying, hey, man, we've been drinking beer all day. We're business partners. We're passionate. We fucking love bull riding. He popped off to me. I popped off to him. And boom, here we go. And there's a ton of videos. Y'all can go check it out. It's hilarious watching these two grown-ass men, and they're fighting behind the chutes. Of course, everybody's trying to pull them apart. Like, yo, man, blah, blah, blah. And they're going at it. But at the end of the day, they both look at each other like, man, we love each other. It was a heat of the moment. It was passion. It was drive. It was, hey, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Don't fucking tell me what the fuck to do. And that's basically what it did. But in saying all that, it proved to me that, for one, if you truly believe in something, you're going to have passion and you're going to get fired up and you're going to love this shit. The other thing it proved to me is this corporate, which y'all hear me beat up corporate all the time about what it's doing to our fire departments. I made the post the other day that I think really caught a lot of this attention. That's kind of shed a little bit of a light where I started talking about the fact that we changed the name of, everybody's a firefighter now. And there was some certain people that got kind of bent out of shape and they thought I was attacking females and doing this. That's not what I meant at all. I don't care. I got 5 daughters. For those of you who don't know, I got 5 daughters. Looking at their picture on the wall right here. Even my little dog running around the house in here is a female. I don't care. The rules are simple. Do the fucking job. I don't care what you have between your legs. Do the fucking job. That's it. Don't change the standards. Don't try to take shortcuts. Do the fucking job. That's it. It's that simple. That's what I believe in. I've said that from day one. I did a female in the fire service episode 2 years ago and had a lot of you ladies reach out and say, could not agree more. So you're not going to get me on that gotcha bullshit thinking I have a problem with females in the fire service, because I don't. I've actually, my entire career, I've had a female on my crew and never had any issues. The thing is, what I meant by inclusive firefighters is we can no longer call them a rookie. My department and all my neighboring departments, you can't call them a rookie anymore. You can't call them a probie anymore. They walk in the door and they are a firefighter. They don't have a probationary period where they're doing, their rookie year where they're on probation. You can get rid of them if they're a turn. They're not that. They walk in the door with the same credibility, the same title, and the same I'm here status as a guy like me that's been on the job for 17 years riding as a firefighter in the eyes of my department. And that's in multiple departments, but primarily I was talking about my area. That's what my post meant. Caught a lot of attention, whatever it is, what it is. The thing about that, guys, and why this is so vital and important when we start talking about where people want to change narratives and this, that, and the other, I clearly described what this shirt meant a year ago when we launched this shirt. Some people will say, well, if you got to put a whole podcast out to explain a shirt, then that just doesn't make any sense. Okay, then stop reading books. If you can't look at the front cover of a book and that 2 or 3 words of a front cover of a book doesn't sum up the entire 10,000 words in that book, then don't ever read a book again. There's a lot of marketing experts that will tell you what I'm doing is stupid. There's a lot of marketing experts say it's inflammatory, it's this, it's that, you're dumb, you're a clown. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to follow my shit. I never got into this to be one for the million plus firefighters in this country that every single one of them would follow. That's not what I'm in it for. There's been over 3,000 people that have purchased the shirt. And I had to go look at the number, over 3,000 people. Some people say, oh yeah, 3,000 people and they get it. Yeah, 3,000 people get it. But what that means to me and what that means to those 3,000 people, you can call us clowns, you can call us stupid, you can say this, you can say that from your high pulpit sitting in an office somewhere. What that means is there's 3,000 people that are out there proud to wear that shirt. And every time they're on a fire training ground, and this is where I'm going to really start laying things out for you guys to understand, especially the cliques and things that don't like what we're doing by creating our own Bucktown, by leaving the corporate mindseted everything, especially in the training realm of world, and creating our own thing. You look around, go on Facebook. Every corner of this country has a new startup fire training conference that is popping everywhere you look, every weekend. And it may be 10 or 12 guys coming together, starting a Fools chapter or getting together collectively as multiple volunteer departments and saying, hey man, let's do a training. Joe Bob's house down the road, he told us that we could have it for the fire department to do some training in it. So we're going to put together an acquired structure training this weekend. We're going to burn that structure and practice our live fire training. We're going to cut holes in the roof. We're going to practice ventilation. We're going to force doors. We're going to practice down and dirty search and rescue in a real life structure. Guys, that's what's happening. Yes, at the end of the day, the massive FDICs will always be the massive FDICs and have 30, 40,000 people that show up to them. And that's great. That's awesome. I hope one day that I get to go. I've never been at a department that sent guys. And to be quite frank, I never had the money and the time to be able to take off and fund my own way up there to go do it. One day I hope that happens where I can go experience what this brotherhood that supposedly is so present and so prevalent at FDIC. I hope I get to see what that is. But here's the truth. Where you see our shirts, the Firehouse Fistfight shirts, is at the small conferences of the 20 to 200 guys that are showing up on their weekend off. They're showing up, getting off work, getting off duty, getting off their normal jobs because they're volunteers, showing up and wearing these shirts proudly while they're on the fire ground doing their drills. That's where you see our shirts. I never expected to see a Firehouse Fistfight shirt sitting in a boardroom. I never did, because I don't plan to be sitting in a boardroom. That's not what I do. You look out this window out here, that's 500 acres. It's filled with cows and horses and a lot of fucking hard work. I don't own a suit. Don't plan to own a fucking suit. I wear an American cowboy hat most of the time with cinch jeans. On a real fancy day, I'll wear a button-up Ariat shirt. That's who I am. And that's what my platform has been about since day one. You see the saddle in the background. You can call that a clown. You don't have to agree with it. I really don't care. Because the people that message me and tell me, hey man, when I wear this shirt, it makes me push myself to be better. When I wear this shirt, I know that I can't cheat corners. When I wear this shirt, I know that I can't cheat on my wife because I'm representing every other third alarm cowboy out there that wears this shirt, and it gives me a sense of accountability and a sense of pride to know that I'm a part of something that stands for something. And that's the cold hard truth to this entire movement. We're outlaws in the sense that we give a damn. Never in a million years did I think that I would be in a position where the largest platforms in the worldwide fire service would be doing hit pieces on me and basically saying that we're a bunch of clowns and we don't deserve to have a job. I'll be a little transparent with y'all in telling you guys that a lot of the people that I've seen, do these hit pieces over the last few days are people that I genuinely looked up to and hoped one day to even get to meet. Other ones I've met, I've talked to, they've met my wife, they've sat at the table with me. And yet, when the corporate pressure comes on of the status quos or the, corporate elite mind style of what the fire service has turned into, when that pressure comes on, they flip the script on you. And so that's really disheartening. But at the same time, I get phone calls from guys that are retired firefighters out of South Chicago that worked in the damn hoods of Chicago their entire career, burning the fucking world down, calling me on Facebook Messenger because they don't have my number and I'm from Texas and we never even met. And all they're doing is calling to tell me, bro, I believe in what the fuck you're doing. It's not about fighting. It's not about throwing hands. It's not about just being a bully. This shit is about giving a damn, caring about each other, and genuinely talking problems out. Guys that'll tell me they were on the job for 35, 40 years, and every problem that ever crossed the kitchen table got solved at the kitchen table. Where that's been lost in the last 5 to 8 years in the fire service, I don't understand. But if 6 words on the back of a shirt can prove that that's been lost, which is what's happening, when you see people that absolutely argue the fact of talking issues out, or they try to twist the words, they try to change, they try to manipulate the fact that hey, we have a massive problem of guys not addressing issues in the station. We have a massive issue of guys not being able to handle problems. And not only in the fire service, but at their home. When divorce rates are as high as they are in the fire service, when dads, I'm going to put dads on blast, when dads are as absent as they are because they're chasing the fire department dream and not being a dad, that's a problem that's got to be addressed. And when it should be happening at the fire station, at the kitchen table, like it did whenever I was a young guy coming up, man, the old guys used to give us words of wisdom and teach us. They taught us about finances. Now, we didn't always listen. We went and bought that new truck. Regret it now, but we went and bought that new truck. When they told us, hey, man, figure out the balance. Don't overfinance your ass so that you're working 2 or 3 jobs just to get by. Just don't finance all that stuff. They gave us that advice. They told us, hey, man, this is how you coach your kids in Little League. If you need off to go coach your kid, man, I got you covered, dude. I'll ride for you. All of that type of stuff was solved at the kitchen table. And it's not happening anymore. You got firefighters that call in sick on holidays, Christmas holiday, and make the guy behind them get held on mandatory overtime because they don't care. You got guys that, just the list goes on and on and on of 100-something episodes of what I've done on this show of the true issues that we've discussed and how to fix them. And yeah, it all gets summed up in a half a second clip on social media about 6 words on the back of a shirt. And the marketing whatevers, people say, well, the message gets lost when the delivery is wrong. Well, what is the right delivery? Let's talk about what is the right delivery. Because what I've seen since I've started 17 years ago, I traveled in the state of Texas. There used to be 2 big conferences you went to. You had the Teaks Leadership Symposium, which had every suit and tie city manager and who's who of fire chiefs go and give these great leadership seminars. I went to several in a row, and I learned so many fascinating things about leadership that I actually still apply to this day. And a lot of them are the principles in which I am sharing on this show. Pay it forward, right? Pay it forward. But you had 1 or 2 conferences in the great state of Texas that was the case. You had your FDICs. You had your I chiefs. And yet, over this time period, what's happened? The number one conversation that's taken place of where we are at in the critical red is leadership. But every leadership guru in the world that has a book, has a podcast, has a lecture, all echo the same sentiments because we're all in the same lane. Guys, that's the reality to the fire service training world. There's gate holders, key holders that won't let certain people in the door because they're an outlaw. They don't fit the narrative. The people that fit the narrative walk on the same path, preach the same stuff, carry the same torch. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that is what it is. The outliers, the guys that come up with new shit, that come up with, ideas for how to solve problems happening in today's generation of the fire service, they're considered outlaws and outcasts, and hit pussies get ran on them. They get called clowns. They get told that, oh, the way you present yourself, your delivery is terrible. Okay, fine. But if the delivery is so terrible, then why does it resonate with so many people? And you can say, oh, well, that's just 3,000 clowns. Well, 3,000 is a pretty sizable army. 3,000 troops that are attending conferences from corner to corner, coast to coast of this country, that they're the last guys to take their gear off. They're the first guys to put their gear on. They're the last guys that quit during the middle of a workout. They push themselves and push themselves and push themselves. And then they turn to the guy beside them and ask, are you okay? 3,000 people doing that in today's fire service is a pretty fucking big difference. That's a lot better than a keynote speaker on the stage in front of 2,000 people giving the same speech that they did last year that resonates with some, and some say, oh, I've heard that before. My department, yeah, it is what it is. They buy the same books. They do the same stuff. What we're missing, guys, is effective teaching. If we've been trying the same shit, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. If we've been preaching the same leadership, fire service principles for the last 15 years at every conference that I've ever gone to, and yet the number one conversation that still takes place is how we lack leadership, and that this isn't, we got to fix this and we got to fix this, but we're still not fixing it. Guys, that's no different than like the federal government's whole issue is, well, in order to fix poverty, we got to spend more money. You're throwing shit to see what sticks because it's your clique, it's your group of people, it's what's supporting you, it's what's working for you, it's bringing and putting the money on the table for you and for everybody. And I won't, stand by here and pretend that my shit is for everybody. I didn't ever say that it was. Bring Fistfights Back to the Firehouse is for the people that truly have a driving passion where they care so much to make a difference that they're willing to push themselves and be that guy. Be that guy that's in the uncomfortable space. People will tell you all the time, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to get out of your comfort zone. But then we stay in the same comfort zone of repeating the same leadership principles, repeating the same operational principles. Guys, I remember very well 10 years ago, whenever, the big smoothbore push, you had every guru in the world saying that smoothbores was the dumbest shit ever. And now everywhere you look, the nozzle forward classes, the smoothbore cartel classes, it goes on and on and on of all the different examples where a bad idea 10 years ago is now the standard today. And where I'm going to explain this to all the people that don't have a true understanding. You may be the most educated person in the world, guys, and this is the deal. You can have all the degrees in the world. I beat degrees and certifications up a lot. But the thing is, and where it's lost so much on today's society, is what education actually is. Education is not a piece of paper. Education is not how many credit hours you took. Education is a true understanding of whatever topic it is that you wish to be educated in. If you want to be educated in math, then that means that you have a true understanding of how to solve this, and this math problem. If you want to be an educated electrician, that means that you have a true understanding of what it takes to, if you're building a new house, how to run all the wiring, how to wire up the breaker boxes, how to do this, how to do that. If you're a plumber, you got to have a true understanding of how the pipe needs to be, ran through the house so that it drains properly and everything like that. It's having a true understanding of what you're doing. And what we're lacking in today's society, where we're pushing educated firefighters, is a true understanding of what we're looking at. And this is what we're looking at. Conference after conference after conference, regional training after regional training after regional training are popping up all across the nation, which says one thing: firefighters are hungry and they have a passion. And what's being missed, because we have my generation and older that have all been brought up under this one type of system of training where it's very regimented. It's very, you have to, kiss the ring. You have to follow this protocol or we don't let you in the club. You need to come and work for us for free as an instructor or we're not going to let you in the club. You need to do all these different things to get in the club. Whereas now you have guys like myself that says, fine, I'll build my own club. I'll build my own table. I'll build my own conference. And that's what's happening. Full chapters across the country are starting their own conferences. Just went to one 2 weeks ago. Coastal Magnolias, South Mississippi. 30 guys in the room of guys that truly, truly, truly give a damn, that come in on their weekend off to sweat their asses off on the fire ground training because they want to get better for their communities. They don't want to go sit in a boardroom or sit through a bunch of lectures. They want to be on the fire field. And where that's coming from and where the lack of understanding is happening across our fire service leaders is exactly what was taught a year ago on an episode of Sean Ryan's show with Brad Guidry. You don't have to take this from Heath Meredith. I don't care. I'm not taking credit for this. I am repeating what a very highly qualified commander of Naval Special Warfare, Bud's Training Complex, said. The next generation of younger SEALs that are coming in have more of a mission and nation-driven focus than any other SEAL that has ever come before them. These guys don't care about titles. They don't care about power. They don't care about money. They've literally come up in a time period where, being honest with you guys, unless you were born with Donald Trump money doesn't mean a whole lot. You're basically, it's going to be what it's going to be. They don't care about the ranking and titles because that's not what fulfills them. What fulfills them is the accomplishment of the mission. And what these Navy SEALs have done coming through BUDS, they care so much. They're waking up early. And those of you that have studied, BUDS and read all the cool Navy SEAL books and things like that I have, BUDS is hard. You don't get to sleep much. So it is an extreme sacrifice to wake up 30 minutes to an hour early before the instructors to go out on what they call the grinder, which is the physical training area at the BUDS complex, to the flagpole to start a new tradition of saying the pledge every morning that was started by the students, because they have such a sense of duty and mission focus that they broke the mold on normal people that would want to sleep to go out there and pledge their allegiance for that day, running that flag up in the mornings. That's a sense of mission. That's a sense of pride in a country that can't be bought. And guys, that's the generation of people that we have coming into today's fire service right now. They're not soft. They're not entitled. They're not all the catchphrases that were given to my generation of the millennials. We were the dumbest bitches that there ever was, according to our predecessors. And it's no different here. Well, they don't know how to run a weed eater. They don't know how to mow. They are stupid. They don't know this. They don't know that. They have more of a sense of duty than what most folks in the fire service can even comprehend. And that's why you literally see 23 and 24-year-olds starting conferences. When other guys, 23, 24 years old, you were trying to figure out how to scheme and promote your way up through the ranks. These guys are trying to figure out how to go get in a burn building. These guys are trying to figure out how to eat right. Guys, go and look it up. There's major statistical data that's coming out saying the younger generation, guys, I have an 18-year-old daughter. This is her generation. They don't care about the drinking and the partying. They care about their physical fitness. They eat right. The caliber of people that we have coming up in the next 5 years of the fire service are like nothing we've ever seen before. And what they resonate with is a winning mindset. My daughter will tell you all day long she can't stand to play for a weak coach. She can't stand losing. She's competitive driven. She cannot stand playing for somebody that's, we're all just here to have fun. No, if we're going to play the game, we're going to win the game. And that is collectively across that generation a way a high percentage of them feel. And that's what's coming into our fire service. So the deal is this, guys, you don't have to like my delivery. You don't have to like, the 6 words on the back of a shirt that bring so much violence to the fire service. But these young guys do, because they have the intelligence and the critical thinking skills and the drive to understand that it means more than just fist fighting. They're not falling for the typical political CNN rage baiting post that my generation and before will fall for, what they call clickbait. They're not falling for that. When they hear what a mission actually stands for, they're willing to ride with that mission. And the thing is this, as far as my platform goes, I'm here for those guys. I'm honest to God, I've been since day one fighting the establishments and the corporate America, fire chiefs, and everything like that, man. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed now, besides now we've got recognized by some even bigger names, but nothing's changed. The mission is still the mission. The guys that want to do this job are still going to do this job. And the fact that this shirt is pushing people to do better in their personal lives and in their professional lives means more than anything, any kind of recognition you could ever get from the .coms or the really famous platforms. I'll leave you guys with this. Circling back to what JB Mooney and those guys are doing with Bucktown, man. If you believe in something, create it yourself. The Third Alarm Cowboys has had no platforms offered to me. I've never been offered on the biggest, to come onto the biggest podcast. I've been on 2 podcasts. Josh Chase and Mike Goldstein brought me on their shows. And we had great conversations. And it got great reviews. I wasn't on there like, oh, let's fucking fight. Let's cut people's heads off. Let's go straight Viking. That's not what it's about. It's about great conversations. But all the other platforms that are out there, those guys haven't opened the door up for me. All of the, the magazines and the fucking major conferences and all, they don't open the doors up. That's fine. The reality is, guys, if you believe in something and other people beside you believe in the same thing, you've got something. That matters. At one point in the fire service, we used to believe the old homage, hey, there's more than one way to skin a cat. On the fire ground, if you see something that I don't see, then we'll listen, we'll figure it out, we'll use it, we'll work it, we'll figure out to make the situation in the emergency better by collectively of all the different things we're seeing. And in the leadership realm and the instructor training realm of today's fire service, it's a my way or the highway type scenario. And anybody that's an outlaw or anybody that doesn't absolutely fall in line, oh, you're a clown, you're a joke, and we're going to fucking shut you down. But the thing is, and where I feel and my passion comes so strong behind it is all the messages from the guys that tell me I saved their marriage, I got them off of drugs, I got them to stop drinking, I got them to promote, and they didn't ever want to, but they realized that they were at a position in their career where they could make a massive difference, so they stepped forward, put themselves out there, and kicked ass and got that promotion, and now they moved up through the ranks and they're having great and successful careers. People look up to them. The guys that have started other podcasts, the guys that have gone and written books, the guys that are doing trainings, the guys that have lost 100 pounds, all the different things that this shirt has been the catalyst to hold people accountable to make themselves better. That means more to me than any fucking recognition from a massive platform could ever accomplish. And the quicker in the fire service that we understand there's more than one way to skin a cat, when you have over 1 million people, there's going to be more than one type of personality. And man, bringing it a little local, there's a lot of personalities out there that are like myself that are not reading articles. That's just the truth. They're on the fire ground. They're learning the information they need to know to do their job successfully through sweat, blood, and tears, not from reading articles. That's the people that I'm proud to represent. That's the people that I'm accountable to, and they're accountable to me. And that's a real movement. That's something that amounts to way more than what most people can even comprehend. And it's beyond 6 words on the back of a shirt, guys. So if that's something that resonates with you and you're all about that, that means some shit to you, I'm ready to have you. Join the TAC team. shoot me a message, become part of our Founding Outlaws. Guys, I'm not charging to be one of the Founding Outlaws. This isn't a Patreon account where I'm charging you 20 to 100 bucks to come in. This is a group of guys that have a foundation that really push each other and give a damn. To me, that's what the fire service is about. You're supposed to be teaching the next generation how to be better, how to keep that passion alive, and how to be that guy at 2 a.m. when shit goes south for our victims or shit goes south for our brothers. The guys that wear these shirts have the drive to be the one to step up in the fold at 2 o'clock in the morning to get shit done. And that's what truly is important to me. So, guys, that's what I have to address on all that other stuff. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the tactical checklist for new age company officers. Guys, like I said, I get messages all the time, and full transparency and stuff. I'm currently not a company officer at my full-time department. I was a captain for almost 9 years. Got beat up bad. I died on the peg 3 times being a chief. Why? Because of the principles that I stand on. Because I was not willing to sell my soul, become a policy Nazi that was just looking to go around and write my guys up. I focused in on training. I focused in on operations. And one thing about my reputation that always preceded itself was, hey, that guy knows his shit on the fire ground, but he's a pain in the ass when it comes to admin. I'll take it all day long. The deal is this: when the fires got bad, the situations got bad, and the district chief looked and said, Meredith, go put the fire out, they trusted that it got done. And I'm not coming from an area of the U.S., that you might make 10, 12 fires a year. Guys, my entire career, I've worked in an area where we made shitloads of fires. Last 12 months in my job, we made 60-something fucking fires. This year, and that's us as a crew. The guys that travel with me. Last year made over 60 structure fires. My old department, where I was a captain, same stuff. I made 150 structure fires as a first-in captain in my time period on the other side of Houston. So this isn't me coming from a place of bragging. This is me coming from a place of operations truly matter to me because I've done operations. I didn't read about it in a book. I didn't read about it in an article. I didn't watch it on a slideshow. I did it on the fire ground, and I fucked up a lot. Learned the hard way. Ended up in the chief's office a lot. A lot of ass chewings behind the decisions that I made. Some of them I had justification for. Some of them I didn't, and it just went wrong. But here's the deal. For all of you that have reached out and asked, like, hey, how do I do this as a, I want to be an officer, or I want to be a lieutenant, I want to be a captain, or this is the deal, man. It starts day one. I'm going to give you all a couple bullet points to start with for this episode. And then if you're interested in the rest of this 30-day checklist, like I said, email me, thirdalarmcowboys@gmail.com. Step number 1, guys, as a first-in officer, get there early. Get there early. Anytime you're a captain, you should be getting there early. You should honestly be, even though we preach for the rookies, the new guys, the probies, to get there early, honestly, the captain should be the first one there early. We used to relieve 30 minutes prior to everyone else coming in. Couple reasons for that. When you get to work, the shift is yours. You're the captain. You're running the show. So you need to get there early enough to understand what's going on. If you've had to swap trucks, if you've got broken equipment, if the chief has 1 million PRs assigned for you that day, you need to get there early so that you can go ahead and establish what's going on and figure it all out. That's step number 1. Get there early. No, the department's not going to pay you for it. But if you start building a good culture of guys like what we had going on with all of ours, we relieved 30 minutes before the rest of the crew got there 30 minutes early, which put the captains relieving nearly an hour early before everyone else. But what that did is we had 3 shifts, A, B, and C. All 3 captains relieved same time, A, B, and C shift. So we were actually getting off an hour early. You weren't giving a free hour of payroll away like so many people fear. If you'll have people that show up and do the right thing, and what you give to them, they give back to you, it all evens out in the wash. And that's part of the being honest and open and transparent and telling these people what it is that you're doing that'll get this moving on the right foot. So show up early. Step number 2, guys, get your gear on the truck. Don't rely on the rookie. Don't tell the firefighter. Don't do any of that shit. Put your own shit on the truck and set it up the way that is successful for you. You know, I'll tell you, I got a bad shoulder. All my years of pitching and playing baseball, I got a bad shoulder, torn rotator cuff. I don't have the range of motion in my right arm. So when I set my air pack up in a seat, guys, I'll put the air pack strap up high on this side so I can put my arm in, but I have to actually tuck my regulator side into the gap in the seat right here. I can't put it up high because when I get like this, I can't fucking reach it. That is a deficiency that I have in my human body from a torn rotator cuff, especially with gear on. It's really hard for me to get my arm back like that. So what do? I tuck it right here. That's something that you need to know. If no one has ever taught you, or you have not done enough drills of getting dressed and stuff in your seat, if you're one of the departments that hasn't gone all clean cab on me, set your shit up for what works best for you. That's the most time-effective way for you. And that goes with everything. We're going to continue to build on that, but that goes with everything that you do. So as a captain, check your own pack off. Make sure everything's functioning. Don't rely on somebody else to do it. Another big thing, and this has even bit me in the ass at times because I was at a station or at a department that didn't have a cascade, so I didn't have the ability to do this. Guys, top your bottles off. As an officer, if your guys see that you're topping your air pack off, totally topping off 4,500 PSI or whatever your air packs are, but for ours, 4,500, and you're getting that you're pegging that fucking needle out, and the guys ask you, hey, Cap, was your bottle low? No, man, but it just wasn't totally topped off. Oh, shit, Cap tops his bottles off. It plants that seed in their mind that, hey, for me, I'm a bigger dude. I breathe hard sometimes when I'm working hard. I do a lot of skip breathing, which is now apparently outlawed from what I'm being told from some of the academies out there. But those extra breaths matter to me. They should matter to you. So if you're setting the example, if you have the facilities do it, like I said, I worked at a place where our cascade would not air the bottles all the way up like that. It had a regulator malfunction on it, and it was unable to air it all the way up. So you got to work with the equipment that you got to work with, and I understand that. But peg that shit out so that your guys see, hey, those last few breaths actually matter to Cap. Because you never know. You never know when you might end up in a collapse, and you're going to damn sure wish you had those last 20 breaths. Those 20 breaths can be the difference between your life or your death. And explain that to your guys. Paint that picture to your guys. Yeah, it sucks. It's annoying. I have to take the bottle off the pack, go out here, do this, do that. But those 20 breaths are worth it when shit goes south. So set your shit up for success in that. Set your gear up where you are the most effective that you need to be in your role of riding that seat, okay? Step number 2, whether you rode that truck or not rode that truck, if you're a new officer, you're new to that spot and that deal. So don't be the guy that goes over here and sits off, fucks off, or goes and hides in their office as an officer, says, I got supervisor, captain stuff to do. Check the truck off with the guys. I'm not saying that you have to plug it all into your truck check system, but put your hands on the stuff. Know where things are, especially if it's a new truck. If it's a new truck, you need to know that truck even better than the guys know the truck. And the reason for that is because when they have questions about stuff, who the hell are they going to ask? You. You are who they're going to have to rely on to teach them. So be that guy that goes around the truck and checks everything. Put your hands on everything. Figure out, hey, man, maybe this truck has different equipment than what you had at your last truck. That's happened to me a bunch. I've gone from running hydraulic TNT tools to electric Amicus tools in the last 2 years. So now I'm over here, and then we have another set of tools on another truck that are Hamatra hydraulic tools. So depending on what truck I'm on, I'm running 3 different types of equipment for extrications. Guess who's in charge on extrication? Company officer. So put your hands on stuff. Go around that truck. And guys, this is one of the big important things. If you're a brand new officer coming into a brand new, if you've already been there a little while, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do this. But if you're brand new, listen up and listen to me on this. Do not immediately come in and start changing shit. Observe your guys. Check the things off the way that you would check them off. But observe how your guys are checking this stuff off. See what their rhythm is. If they have where, one firefighter checks off the officer's side, other firefighter checks off the driver's side, EO checks off this, whatever their system is as a crew, remember, you're coming into that crew. Even though you're the boss, you are the company officer, but you're coming into that crew. Observe, watch them, See how things are going. See if it works. More than one way to skin a cat. Just because you would check it off a different way doesn't mean that it doesn't work how they're doing it. Maybe their way of doing it is more time effective. Maybe they've practiced this shit and they have a good routine going down. Figure it out for how their system is working, okay? That's step number 2. Step number 3. This is where I feel the most important conversation of your entire fire career as an officer takes place, okay? This is where we have the expectations talk. A lot of people put this information out there, but nobody really breaks it down. They just say, have an expectations talk. Nobody's giving you the true checklist, if you will, on what you need to talk about. So guys, this is what I do when I come in to any crew where I'm going to be the company officer, in charge of these guys' lives and their career futures. I'm open and honest with everybody when I come in the door. And I tell them, guys, let's have our expectations talk. Y'all come sit at the kitchen table because this is where all the problems get solved at a fire department. At a firehouse, we solve everything right here at the kitchen table or sitting on the tailboard or in the lounge. We handle our problems together and we talk about them. My number 1 rule with all of you is honesty and transparency. I don't care what it is that the topic is. You tell me the truth and you come to this table with 100% honesty. I'm going to fuck up and you guys are going to fuck up. Everybody makes mistakes. Every single one of us is a human being. The robots that are over in administration may not understand that, but me as your captain, I understand that. So we're going to come to this table understanding that we're all humans and we're all going to screw up. So we're going to tell the truth and we're going to hold each other accountable, but we're going to be honest in what we do. That's how I lead any conversation of expectations. That is my number 1 expectation, to be honest. The next thing is this. Guys, we will be the best crew at this department. We're new to each other. I don't know your strengths and weaknesses. You don't know my strengths and weaknesses. We're going to both have strengths and weaknesses. Things are not going to go right. We're going to have problems. We're going to work through them together. I believe in training. I believe in working out issues and figuring out what's the most effective. We just talked about how I set my gear up to be effective for what works for me. Make sure your guys know how to set their gear up. Maybe they're still setting it up the way they were taught in Fire Academy, and they're like me now, and they're not the freaking 200-pound guy that went to Fire Academy with the 6-pack that was limber and stretched every day. That way I set it up won't work today. Maybe they need to find a better way to set their stuff up. Maybe they've never even been shown a way to set up and they're just making up as they go. If they're a brand new guy, brand new rookie, they've never even used this air pack. They may not even know. You need to find that out and let them know that. We're going to find out what your strengths and weaknesses are, and we're going to work through them together to make ourselves be the best operationally performing crew at this department. And we're always going to work on it. There's things that we're always going to have to fix. There's things that we're always going to have to work through, but that's what we're going to do. That's my expectations for y'all. Then I have a couple things I'll go over when I start talking about pet peeves, because captains have all got to have pet peeves. Here's the pet peeves that I have that I focus in on, guys. Number 1, bring your ass to work on time. Every department I've ever worked at, and I tell the guys this, every department I've ever worked at, I have commuted the furthest of anybody, almost 3 hours at most of the places that I work at, and yet I can still figure out a way to get here 30 minutes to an hour early. You have no excuse. Do emergencies happen? Yeah. You have a flat tire? Call me, let me know. Your baby was up crying all night and you overslept? Call me, let me know. And also call your relief and let them know and make it right by them. Whether you got to pay them or come in early for them next time, spot them, make it right by them. That's how we spread that culture. That's how we spread that brotherhood of giving a damn. You don't just burn them by showing up late and not taking care of them on the back end. You got to tell these guys this stuff. Set them up for success so that they know what to do physically and completely know what to do if they're late. This is what you do. You call me and you call your relief. Done. Next pet peeve. Guys, where we cook our food, clean our food, or wash our ass needs to be clean. This is just me. There's guys out there, y'all have your own pet peeves. I'm just telling y'all what mine is. This is my talk. I like a spotless kitchen. I don't want to come in here and see dirty dishes in the kitchen. That shit will piss me off. We clean up in the kitchen so it's spotless all the time. Where we cook our food should be clean. Where we wash our ass should be clean. Your bathroom don't need piss and shit stains everywhere. You don't need hair everywhere. Clean the shit. Make sure the bathrooms and stuff are clean. That's my pet peeves. I'll tell you all wholeheartedly, fault of mine, I'm not one of them guys that washes a truck just to wash a fire truck. I believe that a fire truck is a working piece of equipment. My background working in the oil field, working on ranches, all that kind of stuff, I've never seen a clean tractor. The day you bring it home from the dealership, that tractor's dirty. I've never seen a clean dozer. Operators will go, blow the dust out of it and stuff, and then when it goes right back to work. A fire truck is a working piece of equipment. It will be dirty. Do we need to shine it up at times for inspection day, apparatus day? Yeah. We're not going to wash trucks to wash trucks. I'm not going to spend the time to go out here and detail a truck when I'd rather spend the time making y'all better on operations. That's what I believe in. Not saying that's right, not saying it's wrong, not saying you got, but that's what I believe in. And that's what I'll tell guys from day one. We're going to work on the things that matter for when the 911 call comes on. We're not going to work on busy work. The other expectations that I have, and we're going to get into more of this, but I just want to give you all those couple first few bullet points to get you going and show you this is the true checklist of what I do in the conversation that I have when I sit down at the kitchen table for the first time with a set of guys trying to get the expectations. If that resonates with you and you want to know more, email me, thirdAlarmCowboys@gmail.com, and I'll send you the rest of the checklist of literally the step-by-step, the things I say, the things I go through. And I may end up doing a part 2 to this episode and going into it more, but getting ready to go to Tennessee, it may be a little bit before we do that. But laying the foundation of what you need to do practically and tactically as an officer is more important than a million leadership symposiums that you could go through where everything, I don't want to say things are hypothetical because they are good leadership principles. But if you do not know how to truly apply them to your actual day-to-day, come in here, sit at the table and say this, then you're not being set up for success. And what I'm seeing from all you guys that reach out and we talk and you're asking for about, that's what y'all need. So this is my ability to try to solve this problem. This is my ability to try to bridge this gap, to get guys going and give you a true tactical checklist on what you need to do, the things you need to say, and where to begin and start going. So guys, all that being said, I'm going to get off of here and go start getting packed and start going through inventory and everything for Tennessee. I'm proud to have y'all wear the Firehouse Fist Fight shirts. I understand that they do not resonate with everybody, and they're not meant to. They're not meant to. There's over 1 million firefighters in this country. Even just 1% of that is 10,000 people. How much better would it be? 10,000 guys. Not even if you had 1,000 people that were out here side by side with individuals in their department, truly giving a damn, how great of a difference that would be. Not everything's got to be unicorns and rainbows, guys. And no part of the rest of the world is it that way. Somehow in today's fire service, we've decided to paint it that way, and we're losing. We're losing. One guy reached out to me and told me straight up, people wonder why recruitment and retention is the number one issue at most departments. We can't staff what we got. We can't staff what we got because most places have a losing mindset where we're just here for fun. We're here to be nice. We're just here for fun. And I continue to say it over and over and over again. Firefighters that have a passion and true love of the job and want to do and really make a difference in somebody's life at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're not here just for the fun. They're not here to just be nice. They're here for the fist fight. So that being said, guys, go follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, go to thirdalarmcowboys.com, get your shirts ordered. We'll see you on the next one.